last time on Dragon Ball Windchimes. The characters each combobulated in the gamer dimension in front of one another as a very threatening combat. A very threatening and horrible monster um, who had risen up out of the hole in the plaza in the gamer dimension. I forgot what part of the sentence I was just on. Basically, you guys fought that thing. Um, it was rough. Specifically for Kavi. It was very rough for Kavi. Thankfully, dying in the gamer dimension does not kill you in real life? Question mark, parentheses. Because after the finishing blow, a flaming, effortful Shoryuken from Amalia Bonanza, and the monster was felled. Their vision all collectively goes black, except for Kavi, whose vision had been black for a little bit, and had seen the Cirque district of Nartzreth through a vague and foggy lens. All of a sudden, that lens clarifies as they all wake up in the rough vicinity of 200 feet of one another on the coast of the Tool River. The Tool River, now full of the shattered remnants of the massive electromancy rails that comprise the transportation system of the Tserethian lifts. The Cirque district had been completely leveled. A large portion of it was essentially just buried under a massive overhang, rocky plateau collapsing. Not plateau. You know what I mean. And everything that hadn't been smushed, even maybe the parts that had been smushed, you don't know, had been completely incinerated. The party discovered that the source of it had similar properties to the most particularly devastating attack that the monster they had fought. The most powerful attack in his arsenal sort of functioned in a suspiciously similar way to basically the wanton destruction that the Cirque district was left in this state by. That said, they did their best to gather their wits. Virgil, the doctor, did his best to heal the wounds of Calliope Laminitis, who just prior to being transported to the gamer dimension was thrown up into a car that had been subsequently torn in half. So he was pretty banged up already, and that persisted through whatever force transported them all here. They gathered their wits, traveled up along the sole road leading south out of the Cirque district, above some hills, at the apex of which they can see the Cherus district, nestled in a hillside opposite the Twin Bridges district, which is particularly connected. It's sort of Nartzreth proper, on the other side of the hills. However, it's very difficult to get to them by foot, and the lift system seems to be down, or at least that's what they've been told by Rudolph, the 15-year-old Atzenalian boy who was on his way to the Cirque district to figure out why the lift system hasn't been working. Rudolph reluctantly parted ways after talking, leaving with his companion, who he called Jidekt, a hulking figure wrapped in cloaks, to see what had happened in the Cirque district for themselves, despite the chilling summary you had given him, while you all continued into the Cherus district township itself. The clock tower has just chimed 19 times. It is 7 in the afternoon. And the city is largely still abuzz with life into the evening. So, Kavi, this is a place you've been before. In fact, as it's the home of the Atsnail, this is a place you're actually quite familiar with. And so, you know the treachery that is to be expected. This is a meeting point for many factions that have a great dislike for each other. Gazing in the streets, they're full of distrust and they're kind of accusatory. You typically only talk to your kind. You personally in the past, you've let Roderick do most of the actual socializing, and even he wasn't really able to use his charisma to its utmost around here, only when he was surrounded by his peers and the other Atzenalians. So you feel a little naked without him here. Everybody else, you don't necessarily grasp the perspective. And there you are. Play D&D.
Okay. Uh, uh,
The road itself is a large highway that looks to be primarily circular. You're coming in at basically what would be an arm of a giant roundabout, right? The roundabout itself being the city. It pro- it progresses in front of you down quite a ways before reaching the actual like a large wall inside the city's actual outer walls that looks like it would house the massive church tower that has been ringing with the bells. And then it also progresses to your right. So you're sort of at this semi L, except it's like a quadrant of a circle. And in the middle of that circle, there's just a bunch of residential alleyways. There's some larger buildings. It's a city that was very much put together gradually, as opposed to one that had a lot of planning go into it. It was more, here's this building. Let's stack the next one right next to it, and then put two here in front of that. It's a little
um,
chaotic if you lose track of the large circular highway.
how long was the walk to get here?
Um, about 9 hours.
Okay. So, uh, I'd like, I don't know if this is a shared opinion, but Calliope looks exhausted. Like, not doing great. Emotionally tired, physically tired. Like, not good.
She says, um, I think I reckon. I think. Wait here. I'm going to check something out.
Okay.
And then she tries to. Is there a place that she can actually go into the building without the others seeing her?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of buildings you could try to slip into without being seen.
No, I mean like the Azanil building.
So the Azanael building, quote unquote, isn't really a thing. There's buildings that will fall under the jurisdiction of the Azanaels. They will have a symbol under the mailbox to look for.
Okay, because I want to go. I want to go into my quarters and grab some of my stuff, but I'm still, not really.
So as far as your quarters go, you were in a residential Atzenale building that was relatively communal. It's sort of a large apartment complex sort of thing going on, except it's a little bit more of a townhouse, and everyone that lived there is part of the Atzenales. However, it's not a townhouse that like is public about it. It's a place you kind of have to find, and I don't know. How good with directions are you?
Well, I grew up here.
You did. Roll history. You
All
grew up
right.
here following somebody around.
Sorry.
So you have a vague enough idea of where you are that even though you don't immediately recognize these streets, you can follow the highway until you do recognize them, is basically how this city works. So you tell your friends to wait, and you start following the highway. Do you want to go like forward towards roughly where the church district sort of area would be, or do you want to go to the right?
I want to go to the townhouse.
You're not sure how to get there from your current position. You're gonna skirt the circular highway until you find alleys that look familiar to you.
Yeah. Right. So,
So do you want to do that forward or right?
right.
Alright, so you go right, which makes sense because it seemed a little more residential that way. To everyone else, Kavi sort of considers for a minute and then starts. She turns and then she starts sort of briskly jogging away. Kavi, within a couple minutes, yeah, you do find a couple familiar streets. Namely, one that has an alley that leads into an area you're familiar with. Your townhouse is probably a good half hour in. So you can get to your place, but it'll be like almost an hour round trip to get back to the party that's just standing at the gate.
Quote unquote
Okay, how
friends.
far am I from the party right now?
When you get to the familiar alleys, it's like 20 minutes.
Okay. Nothing for it. I'm gonna continue on.
All right, so you progress down the alleys, and the township itself sort of has an HOA going on, except the homeowners association is the Atzenales. Like they know their own, and they keep track of their own, and they only let people in that are, you know, part of them. So you go up to what is known as a sentry building that you have to get past before getting into the actual townhouse collection itself, the little community. And the door's shut, and the windows have their shutters closed.
I knock on the door.
So you knock, and after probably 10-15 seconds, one of the shutters on the windows opens for half a second, then slams back shut. And then you hear some footsteps on the inside, and the door cracks open, and a single eye looks out at you from the crack and says, "Name and business."
The Azanil.
It sort of looks you up and down. You're gonna need more specific than that, darling.
Come on, Jordan. I know you. Just let me into my room.
Or persuasion.
First.
It
What's his
blinks.
name?
Oh, bear persuasion.
it blinks at you, and then solid 10 seconds later says, "Jordan got murked about a week ago, honey."
All right, I'm Kavi Azanil, and I need to get some supplies from my room because I live here.
Uh, the, the eye disappears. You hear some rustling, drawer closing, and then a set of 2 keys is shoved out and says, "I'll tell Jordan you say hi." You take the keys?
Yep.
Okay, one's to your room, one's to a mailbox.
All right. Well, first I open the mailbox.
All right, the door shuts. You make your way over to the little complex mail area, which is sort of a pavilion kind of structure. You open your mailbox, and it is empty.
All right, I head up to my room.
You head up to your room. Would it be how proximal were you with Roderick? Would he have been like separate from you and you guys just congregated together, or do you think like your rooms were next to each other? How do
I think my
you?
rooms would have been next to each other because he would have wanted to keep an eye on me initially.
All right. So as you're walking up to your room, Roderick, who is ever the attentive type, his door is slightly ajar, and you notice as you walk past to go to yours.
Well then.
The key turns in the lock, and your door opens, and the rest of the party. What do you guys want to do? It's been about a half an hour.
It would have been nice if she had given us more indication as to where she was going.
Yeah, that would have been pretty nice. Calliope is like leaning on something, but is like,
Passive perceptions.
17.
You guys are getting looks. Not from
Um,
everybody. A decent amount of folk are ignoring you. You guys are getting looks from 3 individuals in particular, Amalia, that have any real malice behind them or inquisitiveness. You're not super sure. One of them is a figure dressed in long brown leather. It's very tightly hewn around him. He has a face mask and a broad hat. He's leaning against a building and he has a massive crossbow on his back. He's probably a good 400 paces away. He's definitely paying attention to you guys. And then another couple would be looks like some owners of a couple shops have pretty they make it a habit to walk to the entrance of their building and sort of scope out the streets before going back inside.
hmm.
And basically,
Well,
to a T, they've looked at you guys. Malia, you particularly noticed that. What's your passive perception, Calliope?
passive perception. Can I ask what that means?
Passive perception is 10 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus if you have proficiency with perception checks.
Where's
You look
perception?
at- if you look at your
Also
If
six.
you look-
I've
If you
got
look
it.
at your character sheet, it is underneath skills.
Yeah, I've got it. 16.
All right, so you also notice this, Calliope.
Hmm. Also, sorry, Stuart, I didn't mean to cut you off so many times. There was a delay.
Yeah, no worries.
Not knowing that like anyone else has really picked up on this, Calliope just like begins to walk over to the guy with the crossbow, like get
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea.
probably not.
Amalia's gonna get up, dust herself off, and just casually stroll after you.
All right, so Albus, your behavior is going to determine Virgil's behavior. Do you want to stay or do you want to go, Albus?
Stay or should
Oh,
I go?
where?
You would be walking with Calliope and Amalia over to somebody who's been paying you a lot of attention from about 500 paces away, leaning up against a wall. He is down like the forward stretch of this circular highway that wraps around this place. It's in the direction Kavi did not go. Kavi pretty explicitly told you guys to wait here for her.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Alright, so Albus, you and Virgil just sort of exchange looks and lean up against the a large arch of the wall that leads into the Cherus district. You're watching Calliope and Amalia, and hopefully nothing particularly bad happens to them. Whatever happens, you will be in sight to see however this progresses. So, Malia, Calliope, you guys get up to basically right in front of this guy, and his behavior nor demeanor really changes.
Hello. Calliope like gives him a light wave.
One of the passersby in the street sort of looks at you weird.
We're in Baltimore.
So, again, with your passive perception, this guy has an emblem on the right side at the very bottom of his leather cloak. It is of it looks like a black horizon with a white sun rising over it.
Edgy.
So that's a Horizon Zero Dawn.
I don't know. I haven't played that game.
That doesn't really dissuade Calliope, as like he just kind of waits for even a mild acknowledgement. Very confused as to why this guy was staring them both down, and then
He's still staring at you, or she.
D-
You can't tell. Might just be very broad-shouldered and flat-chested woman. Its head slowly cocks to the left.
do you need something?
What color is your hair, Calliope?
Calliope's hair. Oh wow, I haven't actually thought of this. Quick, Azunian hair, anime hairstyle, hair color.
Your sibling's hair would typically be white.
All right, then white, yeah.
He says, "Just took your hair color for a different one."
Excuse me?
I'm looking for someone around here. From a distance, you fit the bill, but upon closer inspection, doesn't look like it, actually. His voice is a little muffled through the portion of his clothes that obscure his face.
When you mean fit the bill, do you mean like, and then he just kind of like waves around waves around himself like do you mean like a kitsune?
He waits for you to expound further, like...
Never mind.
Apologies, my friend. He's had a hard day.
That's an interesting way to greet someone. We're not friends.
Well, what's your friend if you know where to look?
His eyes narrow a little bit, but it's almost as if they're narrowing with a smile. You just can't quite tell.
Oh, this guy's cool.
Well, no need to beleaguer a man who's out on the hunt. Why don't you leave me to it then?
Completely lost, Calliope like kind of nods and steps back a little bit, expecting for Amalia to follow, more hoping so than anything.
We are looking for rooms for the night. You wouldn't happen to have any recommendations, would you?
We can ask someone else. I mean, like he's kind of like fumbling over his words.
Well, seeing as how there will actually be a vacancy due to my line of work, and he leans up off of the building, digs around on his person for some documentation. And looks like this guy's not exactly a local. And wow, where's my fucking notes here? Here it is. There's gonna be some vacant rooms in the Garbled Collar. It's further down this road. He takes out a piece of parchment that has Garbled Collar titled sort of in a large sort of graphic header. It's crumpled around the edges. This guy doesn't really fold his papers that neatly. He just hands it to you. What should you tell them? Ask for the discounted rooms. That'll probably work.
Yeah, he's worth a shot. Thank you very much, my friend.
Question for a question.
Uh,
You've got a very interesting accent.
I've been on the road for far too long.
Um,
You got time to sit and listen? Or...
how tall is Amalia?
She's about 5'9".
Okay, so this guy is only slightly taller. He doesn't stoop. He just continues appraising you with his usual stance. But he shifts his weight to the other foot and he says, "No, I could have sworn. Maybe one of the coastal thieves." Nice talking. And then he kicks back and resumes leaning against the wall.
Yeah, what a nice man.
assuming that they were away from him, Calliope was like, "Are people like that just normal here? Should we be worried? Like,
I wouldn't have a clue. I've never been here in my life. But I do know if you spend most of your life afraid of what might happen, you don't get a lot done.
So Albus, pit of anxiety that had formed in your gut at the prospect of basically all familiarity in these people you've been walking with for a good portion of the day being potentially kidnapped or disappearing in some other way, eases quite a bit as they turn around after whatever conversation they'd had with this individual and start returning back to you and Virgil. Do you want to do anything in particular before I get back to Catherine?
Albus is more like wait and see and quiet about it.
Alright, no problem. So, Catherine, the lock clicks open as you turn the key and you push the hardwood door. Your room is exactly as you remember it. Whether that's clean or messy is honestly up to you. All of your stuff is here. It doesn't look like anybody's come in off hours and rummaged through anything.
It's a mess. At least in the workshop area, there's soil and plant bits all over the place.
Is the window open?
No.
Okay, well, I assume you have a bunch of potted plants up there anyways.
Mm-hmm. So,
Ooh, they even probably... Roderick got you a room with a skylight, so you can get sunlight
Ooh, yes.
into your little workshop area.
Yes.
The skylight is probably this big octagonal thing that reflects light in a lot of different ways, so that instead of just being a big ceiling window, it's more of like a lens that makes sure the light's going down no matter what time of day it is, except for night, obviously.
Well, first I take a deep breath at being back in a familiar place.
Feels good.
And then I sit down and think,
And
do
not
I want to rejoin the group? And I decide that whatever's going on, they know about it. I probably should go back to them, but I grab my toolkits and a bag to put them in and some papers just in case I need them. A bit of money.
All right. So
And
you're filling your inventory with the stuff that you have in your character sheet, I assume.
Yep. And then I pause by Roderick's door and push it open.
Roderick's place has been completely destroyed. It looks like somebody went in knowing full well that the both of you were going to be gone and turned over everything. The bed is propped up against the wall. Um, the mattresses have been separated. Some of the cupboard drawers are lying on the ground, either their contents dumped out onto the floor or rummaged through roughly. Things have been swept off of surfaces. There's some broken furniture that looks like maybe whoever did this was looking for secret contraptions. It's been very thoroughly burgled.
Right. I am pissed. And I look for his, at least for his research notes, and see if I can save them.
Roderick is the
And
type.
some of his stuff.
Roderick is the type to always bring his research notes with him. So when you go looking for them in the usual places, they are nowhere to be found.
All right, but
He's
if I
probably
if I
the one
do
that has them.
if I do a investigation check, will I see what, if anything, is? Will I be able to tell in the mess? Well, probably not with an 8.
So with an 8, you can only hope that they're gone because he has them.
I meant like see if anything else, like
Oh,
figure out
so
what.
just look for other stuff.
Yeah, figure out maybe if someone took something.
Is high, good, or bad?
High is always excellent.
You're not familiar enough with the entirety of Roderick's belongings to know where to look for something that might be missing. There's a suspicious lack of precious stones. Like, there's other things that would be worth large sums of money that seem to be ignored, like pricey paintings, as one of Roderick's vices. He's a big art guy. None of the art that has a big price tag attached to it has been stolen. But you at least work very closely with gems. Roderick, you're not sure if he does. You don't think he does. Occasionally someone has a little bit of jewelry. Roderick has none in all your searching through his room. So whether that's just something you've never picked up on him, whether that's a sign of what was taken, you're not quite sure. But it is a detail.
Okay, I'm just really disturbed by this. Does he have I grab what I think might be his valuables, at least, because they're clearly not safe here.
Okay, so you grab
And
a bunch of paintings.
let's see. Are any of them small enough to fit anywhere?
None of them are too big. You could transport them to your room if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in my room.
Okay, so you frantically just move all the stuff that you think he'd care about from his room to yours. You make an effort to tidy yours up a little bit so that you can differentiate your belongings. And after the fact, his place is a little more bare. As you're doing this, we'll say somebody from somebody you're loosely familiar with walks by. Her name's Teresa, and she's older. Catherine?
Teresa? Do you...
What are you doing in Roderick's room? Is he around?
He asked me to,
You just got your arms, like, stuffed with paintings, and, like, you're holding a vase.
Yeah, he asked me to, keep his stuff somewhere safe. He left the window open, and the room got all moldy and stuff. So he's still airing it out, but he wants me to put these things.
I didn't expect... I thought you went with him on his little excursion. I didn't expect to return so soon.
Well, obviously I did.
It's good to see you. Is he around? Maybe trailing behind you?
No, he's still in Canaan. Important work to do, you know.
Oh, that's worrisome. What with the lift system being down and all.
Yeah, it's a shame, but look, I'm sure he'll be back. We'll be back soon enough, and then I'll tell him. We'll get him working on the lift.
Well, until he does, you can ask me anything in his place. She gives you a a very seemingly sincere smile, but this is sort of an that's an alien thing where it feels like Roderick's absence is her trying to get a little closer than she should be.
Of course. Anytime.
Good. And she nods and then continues on her way.
Alright, so I try to hurry back. Yeah.
Do you want to
Where I
close?
think the others are.
You close Roderick's door too?
Yep.
You do not have the key to lock it. Do you want to go talk to the guy in the shack?
Mm-hmm. Could I have Roderick's key? I need to lock his door. He forgot to do it before he left.
So you walk up to the door, you knock twice in the same way, it opens a crack, and you're once again conversing with one eye. It blinks after you say that, and and you hear the response, "Nobody's ever asked for somebody else's key." It's not really how this
You
place
could-
works.
Then could you lock up after him? Because he's gonna be upset if anyone gets into his room, you know.
It blinks. You seem to have actually dumbfounded this guy. When night shift comes, I'll stay an extra 10 minutes.
Good.
Nothing's
Heavy heart.
nothing's broken in,
I-
have they?
You'll have to tell me. I mean, his door's closed. I wouldn't go into his room without his permission.
The eye narrows a little bit as it scrutinizes you, and it says, "All right. Off with you." And then the door slams. So you come back probably like an hour and 10-ish minutes, just from the activity there.
The easiest crime in the world to solve.
It gives you about 20 minutes for the guys waiting at the gate.
All right. So where we are right now, I can't remember if you described any like grocery stores or anything.
Nothing seems to outwardly like.
So not even a fruit stand, huh?
I mean, there might be. It's just there's no real signs. Like just from like seeing how the people walk around here, there's enough people going into and out of buildings that some of these places have to be shops. They just aren't advertising. Everybody knows where everything else is, it seems. And
Alright.
Kvi, one of the people that was with you, even though she was kind of momentarily lost for directions, she seems like she went in a direction that was familiar to her. So, I mean, you could go poking around some of the buildings to try and figure it out, but
Yeah, I mean, Calliope's looking for. Hey, no. It's not some sort of wild antics. I mean, like Calliope turns to the group and is like, "Are any of you guys hungry? Like we've been on the road for a while, like a while."
you guys are all hungry.
I could use a little bit to eat, yeah.
It was
Okay,
probably
well-
it was probably dead /
Mhm.
incinerated fish smell that was killing your appetites.
Though having a little look around, I don't see any signs. How the hell do they expect visitors to find anything?
I mean, maybe they don't get a lot of visitors, and I kind of get that. Let's just look around. Maybe we can
That's
ask
fair.
someone less.
It sounds like I came in at the right time.
So Virgil, just to set the scene, you guys have basically been standing at the entrance of the Cherus township. Kvi, upon all of you entering, immediately turned to you guys and said, "Wait here, I'll be back," and then fucking ran off. And it's been about 45 minutes. She hasn't returned. In the middle of those 45 minutes, Calliope and Amalia went over to talk to a dude probably 400, 500 paces away who has a massive crossbow, who's leaning against a building, and he was paying a lot of attention to you guys. Calliope and Amalia talked to him, and then you just kind of chilled back with Albus, hoping nothing bad was about to happen. Nothing bad happened. They returned and probably filled you in.
Cool.
You guys could play
Cool.
that conversation out if you wanted. All right, great. You don't want to. So,
Give
so
me a
sorry.
give me a minute or two. Can I just like set herself up, people watching and just observing people go
Yeah,
in?
roll investigation.
We're a grocery store.
Where grown trees.
Want cabbage.
You want food.
So,
Uh,
funnily enough, it's also the true namer in IRL Windchimes that has the observant feat that I've ruled works in the exact same way. So you guys are both ludicrously good at investigating.
That's crazy.
So it's
Must be something
actually
about learning names.
it's something really subtle you pick up on, and it's after about 5 minutes. It's very inobvious which of any of these buildings in this general vicinity might be a grocery store, except someone walks into a building without an apple and walks out eating an apple. And you're like, oh, well,
That way you know they're a dick.
that's the
Dick.
closest I've gotten for 10 minutes.
If I were a betting woman, I would say that store over there, that's your best bet.
well,
Betting.
all right. Let's go. Like he kind of tries to rally the group, but probably is unsuccessful.
So as you rally the group, you see Catherine sort of hurrying her way back down the highway, probably 3 or 4 minutes down the road. She's dressed in her white, which sets her apart from the common riffraff of the Atzenale district quite easily.
Buenas noches. Glad you decided to join us.
I was looking for someone that I know.
And you did not find him?
No, his room. I grab a hold of myself. He's not here and under rather strange circumstances. So I think
Kidnapped. Happens all.
Let's not jump to conclusions.
Yeah, maybe don't say that.
Virgil just gives a shrug.
So, Calliope and Amalia, you have a tavern with basically your names on it. At least
Mhm.
that's how that guy made it seem.
Yeah. I have a request for the DM.
What's up?
So I know how I didn't have anything on me. Can I have at least half my gold? Is that cool?
I will give you your entire inventory
Nope.
except for the things that you narratively don't want to have. So far,
Alright.
you don't have your shotgun, and you have everything else.
That's basically nothing. Aside from a piercing attack materia, but narratively that is not very much. So I'll keep the 39 gold and just like.
So, Amalia takes this moment to actually do it. She's like, not that it should matter in a civilized society, but going around, no weapons, and are you entirely comfortable with that?
I mean, I have a weapon. It's just at home in a safe under my bed.
I have the impression that may be a little out of your reach right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad that we both picked up on that.
So Calliope and Amalia, even though you guys are having this conversation, ludicrous past perceptions, so you're also the first ones to pick up on the fact that a couple people have stopped walking and are paying more attention to you.
Calliope's used to it, so he doesn't even really acknowledge it.
Amalia looks over to Catherine and is like, gestures her head in their direction. You know those fellows?
Me?
So when Amalia brings them up, Catherine, your attention is put on them as well, and they don't look like they're dressed in clothes that you would typically see here in the Atsnail district. These are people that are probably visiting from another district. They're dressed in dark greens. One of them has long braided hair, brown. Both of them have large hats, sort of sun hats, except they're sort of decorated with crowns of twigs. These people, one of them is a Folian. It's not Bells, but it's a Folian. And the other one's a Noctian, much shorter than the Folian. And they haven't stopped per se to pay attention to you, but they've slowed down significantly. And they're sort of using the rest of the people just kind of going about in the streets, which has thinned considerably since it's a little past 8 now. They're sort of using that as a barrier, and you catch glimpses of them like as people walk by, but never for longer than maybe 5-10 seconds at a time.
Okay.
So these people roll I guess history, Catherine. See if you can recognize where these people are from. These people seem to be from the Sylvan district, which is the most remote district, and it's only accessible via the lift system, which is currently broken. That tells you that they've either
I was gonna say.
they've been here since before whatever happened. That's what that tells you.
I turned to who's next to me.
Just everyone.
Okay. Mutter. They're stranded far from home.
Oh.
They'll smell the tourists.
I feel kind of bad for them.
The Noctian looks up at the Folian and they exchange a few words, then sort of go back to sort of side-eyeing at you guys while they slowly pass.
Well,
I
yeah.
think what may be for the best just now is if we find somewhere to sleep, and then we can tackle whatever is going on after a rest. The nice gentleman over there, he pointed out an inn for us. Are we all comfortable going there?
Catherine,
mean-
you're interested in the name of that inn because different taverns are used for very different things around here.
What's the inn called? I may have heard of it.
Yeah, I don't remember what Eric just said.
It was called the Garbled Collar.
Does
I
that
think
tell
it-
me anything?
It is that's a tavern. That's used for tavern things.
Okay.
Some taverns are where you send people to get assassinated. That's not one of them. Or at least not one that you're familiar with.
All right. That's a join, I suppose.
And you guys follow the rough map that has been set for you, leading further down this large circular path. I don't know where you got that picture, but it's so much better than Felix Argyle. Ah!
I just searched for Dr. Cat Guy, so
Perfect.
Wait.
it'll do.
So you find this tavern. It is very long, smushed in between two buildings. It looks to have 4 or 5 stories to it. As you get deeper into the alley it's situated in, it looks like it expands enough to actually be a tavern, but that's like 20 to 25 feet of walking. So you go up to the door, which is at street level and leads into a hallway. It's got a little bell, and there's a stand next to the bell that does not have anybody there. This setup is basically you've got to stand here and wait to be walked in. by an employee of the place.
Calliope is kind of looking around and is like trying to like wordlessly get the attention of someone else in the group. It doesn't really matter who, but before he says like, "This, I don't want to sound like a problem, but isn't this place like a little bit sketchy? Not to be rude. It's just like he's just kind of like looking around.
It's real
He's
sketchy.
he's very very not comfortable.
What are the standards of taverns you've slept in?
Model's afraid to get his hands dirty, hmm?
Okay, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I've done crimes.
Name one.
How loud are you saying this?
Pretty loud, like he's speaking very defensively.
All right, so after you say this, someone who's wearing something close to a maid outfit, but a little more vocational, so like,
Vocational in quotes. There is no skirt.
it looks out of a corner 20 feet ahead of you. It's sort of like, who the fuck said that? And then disappears for a little bit, and then you know, the human it belongs to, just in full view, just comes speed walking towards you. She's holding essentially a large leather-bound, not an attendance book, but like a log, like a visitor log, or like basically just a big leather-bound book to keep track of shit in.
Alright.
And it has the chain attached to the spine with a pen at the other end. And she gets to you guys. She goes, "Please, you're being very loud. First of all, second of all, we don't have any rooms left. So."
Do you not? I had it on good authority that there were discounts.
She looks at you, Amalia, and waits for more.
A friendly enough gentleman in a black leather outfit said there would
She nods immediately, sort of tries to silence you by chopping her hand from left to right, and then motions for you to follow her and walks back down where she came.
Excellent.
See? Entirely about it.
Calliope looks impressed.
You guys move like 10 feet. She turns around, motions for you to stop, is gone probably 30 seconds around the corner before she comes back and just throws a giant cloak at Calliope.
How heavy is it? Like, is it like wool? Is it like what is
it's
it?
cloth. It's
Okay.
it's big so that you can wrap it around yourself several times.
Oh, okay. He tries to do this. It like catches on his horns and makes it look really funky.
But you do your best.
He does his very best.
She looks at you. She's really tall, actually. She's like about 6'1". She's taller than
He has
everyone
to.
there.
He has to look up at her. Yeah.
She just gives a little sigh. And then she continues leading you. She makes eye contact with somebody behind a bar when you get down this long hallway to the actual like main rooms of this place, like the big where it's a tavern shit. Makes eye contact, nods to him, and then leads you up the stairs to the third floor, down to two relatively inconspicuous rooms. One has 2 beds, the other has 3. She takes 2 keys out and hands them both to you, Amalia. These are rooms 306, 307.
Gracias.
Excuse me?
They means a thank you.
She looks amused by your accent.
She looks around and she's sort of sizing up the party, seeing who's going to go in what room. And she's going to lob the free bedroom key to Calliope.
he he fumbles with the catch but gets it. And like, do I? What? Should goodbye, bot. Bot is dead.
Rest in peace.
Bot is dead
We
long
killed
before.
them.
Me. I. But yeah, Calliope looks like he begins to talk. Is like, should I? Do I pick?
I mean, immediately off the top of your head, 3 guys, 2 girls, or 3 girls, 2 guys. If you want a co-ed, you can, but
Calliope is like desperately looking at Amalia for answers.
yeah, Amalia, you have made yourself out far too early that you're the competent one.
Is there an issue?
I mean, well, I mean, if I have to pick 3 out of 5, that sets a precedent.
Virgil snatches the key and enters one of the rooms.
2 bedroom or 3 bed, or 2 bed or 3 bed.
3 bed.
So these rooms are actually really nice. This has one of the best showers you've ever seen. It's about as good as the suite showers in the Arburn Syndicate, and it's in
Fuck,
Nartzaret.
this is nice, hmm?
So it's a different sort of architecture to it, and the plumbing's probably a little more primitive, but it gets the job done. It doesn't have that nice bidet that you love, but you know, whatever.
Pretty boy. Albus, was it? Yes? Yes. Yes. You too. Go. No shenaniganry on my watch. Come on. This
Like,
one.
Calliope seems unnerved that he's going to have to sleep in a room with
Yeah, that. So Virgil
that.
goes into the room and sings how you guys are situating yourselves. The attendant smiles to you all, and for just the briefest instant, Calliope, you get this stab of pain in your head, and for
Oof.
a tenth of a second, as you're looking at this attendant's face, the smile seems to stretch way more than it should.
Oh boy.
But it's super brief. You probably imagined it. She turns and walks away.
Yeah, I mean, Calliope is already pretty unnerved, so he just kind of like
Just a moment before you go.
She turns on her heel and looks at you, Amalia.
We will be looking for dinner as well. If you would be kind enough to show us where.
Will you be eating downstairs, or do you want it brought to you?
I think we could send it downstairs.
The next serving is at
just look-
9:30.
She's looking around to see if this is a popular opinion.
it doesn't look too popular with Calliope, but it could also be just like everything else.
It could just be that
Virgil shrugs, slinging his
she
bag
looks
on the bed.
terrifying really briefly.
Yeah, he's in a creepypasta that no one else can see.
Well, whatever you decide. Next serving is at 9:30, which is in a little under an hour and a half.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now then.
And she continues. So, you guys are set up in a tavern in the midst of the Cherus district. Catherine, this is probably the first time you haven't been under the direct protection of the Atzenales. This tavern doesn't tell you a lot, but what it does, you are reasonably certain that this tavern is neutral. This tavern would be used for persons in high positions in the Atzenale family to facilitate trades between other families or do trading themselves. And this tavern would sort of be the overseer, or just making sure nothing too insidious happens. But other than that, you're not explicitly protected here. In fact, the way it's sort of pieced together, the way you got these rooms, you're in the rooms of people that might as well be dead.
What does that mean?
That-
Someone's assassinated them or is about to.
Yes.
Like, are you saying that?
No,
There's-
I mean, people who are
we are not going to be killed. There were people who will
Pause.
find these rooms who are going to be.
And it looks like the people at the tavern were aware of that.
It's true.
Mhm.
But aside from very quietly objecting that he does not stay in the same room as Virgil, Calliope does eventually go in and like situates his bed. Wait, where's Virgil's bed?
The beds are just
Virgil
kind of
will-
like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but is he in 2 or 3?
Oh, fuck.
Reason 3.
All right. Calliope picks 1.
Of course he would.
All right, so Calliope
Uh,
gets blessed with the window bed.
Hell yeah!
Give me a couple minutes, guys.
No problem.
All right.
I will also use a couple minutes to go and make myself some tea.
Wait, I have a question before you go.
What's up?
Layout of the room. Are there shutters in the window?
Yes, everything is very, very closed.
So we can just kind of imagine this as like a normal hotel setup.
Kind of, except seeing as how the building's 4 stories, very tall, in an alleyway, and your sense of direction isn't good enough to tell you where exactly the window would be facing in terms of like the actual building from the outside. This might be looking out onto the thoroughfare, given the narrowness of the room itself, or
Is that
it might be looking straight out into the alley where you see a big wall of the other building right next to you.
Can I make
That's
it like
always the best view.
You want to open the shutters?
no, he's going to like lift up one of the shutters and peek through.
Okay, you're looking right out onto the streets.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, these were the assassin target rooms for a reason.
Yeah, for real, huh? So Calliope, like, I mean, it's 4 stories up. It can't be that bad. So Calliope like looks back at Elvis.
You're on the
and
you're on the 3rd story. There's 1 floor above
Oh.
you.
Okay. If that's the case, then yeah, no, shutters stay closed. And then he sits down on the bed and is just kind of vibing until 9:30 or whatever
Eric,
the time was.
Eric gets to go make his tea.
Yes.
How's your head?
My head?
Yes, your head.
Well, it should be fine, I think. I'd say so.
Shouldn't take too long for those wounds to heal on your arm. A car crash?
Yeah, yeah. It was bad.
Were you the sole occupant?
No,
No.
I wasn't. Someone was with me. Someone I knew. What was his name? Homer. Yeah, he was a driver for a thing that I go back and forth from often. He was in it too, but I didn't see him. Calliope slowly turns away from Virgil as he stops talking to him. Like just equivalent of staring at the power outlet and pretending to put forks in there in your mind.
Oh, I needed an autograph.
An autograph?
Yes. My friend. He's actually very big fan. Very big.
Oh, wow. Okay. What's his name?
Let me pull up my character sheet.
Haha, nerd.
What is big? Well, with love, Emery. 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 Is his...
What should I sign it on? Do you have a pen? He
Doctor.
takes it and is like looking around for like parchment or like a piece of paraphernalia.
He's handed you a standard edition like doctor's notepad thing?
So first instance of this, Calliope like um tries to write out his signature, but like almost drops the pen before he like starts to squint really hard at the paper. And it's like, sorry, I'm clumsy, I guess. Before he like turns the sheet around, and I'm actually gonna roll myself a quick dex check to see if what happens. But since this is pretty inconsequential, I want to see how well
That's
his
fine.
modifier. All right, yeah. Um, he writes out his signature, which is kind of interesting, actually. You've seen it before a couple of times, but how it is that it's a C that kind of wraps in on itself and makes a secondary L from like the back of it. It's definitely not a regular signature. It's been kind of like the motif has been
Branded.
simplified. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's been brandified a little bit, but like the motif has been simplified over the years. It was a little more complicated, the last
As you
autograph
do with
signing he
normal
did.
signatures, trust me.
Yeah. So yeah, he gets the CL with like a little heart on the inside of the C, and he's like, should I write anything?
Hmm. 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 Do you have a catchphrase or something?
No. I mean, I could just say like hi or something.
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
does he
What would he
like?
want? He loves your fashion. Literally, in any sort of off time, he's wearing your fashion line.
Oh, then I can say I appreciate his support or something. I'll think
There
about
you
it.
go. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
He nods a little bit. It's like that was a good humanizing moment for Virgil. Um, Before he like kind of writes out, he writes something down, then kind of like scribbles it out, and it's like he's trying really hard to make it seem like a little bit more personable than just thanks for the support, but he's having a hard time coming to words.
It's fair.
Like he finalized it after two scribbled out sentences is like thank you for the support and I hope we meet sometime, and then like passes it back to Virgil and like seems pretty self-satisfied. The note is a mess. Like there's a failed signature on the back, there's two scribbled out sentences, his signature is like taking the forefront with the message underneath it, but like it looks like it was like under the ravings of a madman. Like
This is quite a personal note. Quite a personal note. Definitely one of a kind. He'll certainly appreciate it. Hmm?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's a little messy. It's just,
That's
it's been
fine.
a
That's
long
fine.
day.
We all make messes. Hmm?
I guess. I mean, I try not to, but evidently.
It's life. It happens.
Calliope kind of nods and is like, um, did did anything seem weird with the server to you?
Hmm. Hmm. Nothing that I know. Well, other than the whole handing the keys for no money thing, that was a little weird, I suppose. Um,
Yeah, I guess that's just crime stuff.
Crime stuff. Seedy. Very seedy.
Yeah. I meant like, never mind. And he kind of gets up and like scuttles over to the other room and knocks gingerly on it. So like the Amalia, and I can't tell what her name is because it
I
originally was
think we're just going with Catherine.
Catherine. Yeah,
Yeah.
Catherine. Catherine's the assumed name. All right. Yeah. So Calliope knocks on the door.
Well, you need something?
Uh, yeah. I kind of wanted to talk to you about this whole situation.
Look,
Good.
sometimes you're going to have to make do with a rat-infested tavern. Just be glad that we have the kind of quality we have here. I
I
had something less.
I don't doubt you. It's just that isn't isn't this kind of weird? This is we're very listen. When I woke up, I I I was in somewhere. I was in Canaan originally. That's geographically that's very far away.
Oh, that's
I think
hilarious.
most of us are very far away.
I mean, are we? We're planning on getting back to where we were, right? That's the we're not staying here, right?
If you have a proposal for how we get across half the world without a boat, then by all means.
Uh, I don't know. Maybe we could.
Alright, that's probably all the time I can get away with crying alone in the bathroom.
Making tea, making tears.
We're back. Once a
Alright.
motherfucking again. Welcome to my new Minecraft video. You guys doing anything before 9:30 or are we skipping?
We were just discussing things just now. We've been talking without you for like 10 minutes now.
Okay. Is it pertinent? Like, do I need to know anything?
Kyle,
Virgil got Emery's got a autograph for Emery.
Nice.
Calliope was just asking Amalia if we're staying here, and Amalia's like, well, if you have a plan for getting back to Cannon without a boat, then by all means, let me hear it.
Well, I mean, we could rent a boat. We could borrow
You
a
guys
boat.
start talking about boats. Virgil, you can't leave Nartzreth in a boat.
Well, they're in the other room,
Okay.
so he doesn't hear.
Catherine
Of course
just.
not,
Catherine.
my friend.
Catherine doesn't.
Catherine's sad.
Yeah, Catherine is discombobulated.
What a word.
She's not sure whether she wants to stay or go. I don't suppose you know any wizards.
I
Yes,
mean,
I know plenty of wizards, including me.
you do?
Then
Wait,
why don't
what?
you magic us home? To Canaan, that is.
Let me think. It's probably because I don't know that spell.
Great. Huh. It's
And
not a
even
big
if I were to know that spell, I would not be able to cast it.
Something weird's going on in the top right corner of the ceiling.
What ceiling? Like in what room?
In the room you guys are talking in.
Okay, so room 2.
Yes, the
With
room
the two
the
beds.
girls are in.
Wait, okay, I have a 15 passing.
Yeah, you all notice immediately.
What
There's
the hell is?
a portion of the wood is carving itself out. It slowly moves in a line perpendicular to one of the walls and then turns 90 degrees and starts carving towards the other wall of the corner. So it's making a little square in the ceiling.
Calliope is full deer in the headlights, just kind of like staring at it, like.
Anybody
Its
doing
eyes-
anything?
Amalia watches it go, and then she's gonna
I tried.
She's gonna turn to who she told the day before. She's gonna turn to Calliope and let it finish, and she's like, "Anyway, you do not rent on a boat, or you do not have a boat. There's
Okay.
no renting it.
We both see that, right?
I can see that it's not finished writing whatever it's writing.
As it gets to the other wall and forms the square in the corner of the ceiling, you hear a thonk from above, as if it from an attic, and then another thonk right above the square, and then another thonk, and then finally, poof, the portion of the ceiling is punched down and it smacks loudly on the floor,
Ah,
and then a pretty disheveled looking fella swings his feet down into the room and looks around not like he expected more than one person here. He looks at Amalia and he says, "Oh, you've got friends now. I should have put more clothes on." He goes back over to the square, jumps,
He raises an eyebrow. at that.
grabs the edge with his fingers and pulls himself back up, and then he comes back down with a shirt.
What the hell?
Nice to meet you.
Virgil knocks open the door with his tonfas ready. I heard a thunk.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a guy you don't recognize in here, Virgil. He's pretty tall. He's like 6'2". He's got a little bit of a scruffy beard. He's got long black hair. He's got a shirt. It's kind of just a Hawaiian shirt that's shittily buckled up. Not buckled, shittily buttoned up. Like only the middle buttons are done, and it's one higher than it should be, so it's uneven.
This takes him a bit by surprise the most, and he's like,
He's barefoot.
"What in the
he's
God's
in
name is that
slacks.
shirt?" Hmm?
As
is that a wizard?
he approaches Amalia and sort of shoots his hands out to shake everyone's hands almost simultaneously, except for Amalia.
Everyone, this is my
Virgil like awkwardly does the thing with one of the tonfas to shake it.
He has a very, very limp handshake. He just like shakes your fingers twice and then goes on to the next person.
Everyone, this is my wizard tutor. Wizard
Your
tutor.
what?
This is everyone.
Hi.
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Stuart. What did you say?
She said, "This is my wizard tutor. Wizard tutor. This is everyone."
Okay.
So
Had to learn
as
magic somehow.
as the wizard
Well,
tutor
there's
goes
someone.
to shake your hand, Catherine, do you have any Adsinalian insignia on you?
Yes. It was part of the stuff that I gathered up in my room. At least that was what I was intending.
All right, is it visible?
It's the No.
Okay, then yeah, he goes to shake your hand. Nice to meet you all. I am, well, I go by Truthsayer, because it's a need-to-know basis. What's going on? He looks at Amalia.
Why don't you tell me? I walked out of the room, and then suddenly I'm in some weird other dimension place, and there's a giant
Alright.
monster rampaging around and burning people alive, and it was
Wait.
not a good time.
This isn't your room, is it?
What?
He looks at Calliope and he says, "No, I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know where we are."
He just
Oh.
lives. He just
You
lives
got
in
told him?
rooms.
Well, I
Do you
mean,
have some sort of tracking? What? How?
What? Are you stupid?
How did you? If you don't know where you are, but you knew she was here. Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Have you ever
Very
heard
weird.
of Have you ever heard of magic?
I'm
Well,
supposed
yes,
this
but
is the
magic
sort of
can't
magic-
teleport you to other people. It teleports you to destinations, places, things. Well, I suppose a person is a thing. Hmm.
She turns to the wizard. Sure. I'm sorry about him. I don't know what his thing is, but
No. He's got a point. Sorry for calling you stupid. You're clearly just uneducated.
Uneducated. I went to college. I'm a doctor.
Oh. So mostly uneducated.
Calliope kind of laughs at that, but like tries to cover it up with his mouth.
Virgil looks incredibly offended and
You
then
wanna
just kind of.
you wanna look at this zit for me and tell if it's infected? He pulls his sleeve up and just like
Damn.
it shows you a fucking big ol' sore on the back of his shoulder. It's fucking nasty.
Do I need to roll medicine to see if it's
Yeah,
infected, or can I just be
you can roll medicine.
Calliope kind of looks away and is like, God, you should exfoliate.
Yeah, well, don't have much room for luxury. No, he just picks at it a whole bunch.
Ugh.
Stop picking at it and it'll be fine.
How do you expect me to clip my nails? Anyways,
With fingernail clippers, you savage!
Anyways, is there any point to this particularly disgusting display?
well,
Or are we going to get to the point of this conversation anytime soon?
his jaw
Yep.
drops a little bit.
And you're the one who interrupted him.
Damn.
Well, I'm not the one who was showing people my infected pimples.
He puts
Yeah.
both of his hands up. You're right. You're right. My fault. He takes a step
If
back.
you do have something infected, you should probably let me know.
We
Calliope's just watching this drama.
we had just finished the introductions. This was my effort to check in on what had happened to you, Amalia, as things did not go according to plan as soon as you went down through the trapdoor in your ceiling. Namely, you weren't there anymore. So, I went back into the room, I redid the spell, and now we're clearly not attached to your house anymore.
What the
Yeah, no, we're not attached to my house. We're attached to wherever I ended up after wandering into a strange dimension with a weird monster.
He
What
he
kind of
looks around. Does
stuff?
anyone have a I'll go get mine. He goes back up into the ceiling square. He comes back down with a small shitty book. It's not even a book. It's a bunch of papers that like aren't held together very well, and they're clearly disorganized. All right. What's this place look like? Not this place. The place you were pulled to.
Oh. Calliope like kind of looks around and is like almost raises his hand before puts it back down. And it's like I can recollect it. I think. I mean, a little bit at least.
You were all there?
Yes. we're
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Indeed.
Was everyone there? Did it? Have you guys talked
Let
to
me-
anybody that wasn't there besides me?
Who's everyone?
Everyone, like
Like everyone?
Everyone in the
We were
world?
just
Like
No.
everybody.
Yes, we were there. There was no one.
Well, we
just
don't know
us
that.
And some freaky demon god thing.
he points
We
at.
were in a.
Oh, okay, step by step. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. He points to Virgil. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you in here, Albus?
I'm not sure if I am anywhere.
Well, you're either in the other room or you're here. It's just basically whether or not you want to be present or off doing your own thing. Both are perfectly viable.
Probably outside.
Okay. So he counts the 4 of you and he says, so there were 4 people in the dimension?
No,
5.
no.
We've got a friend.
And with that, we cut to, I guess, Albus's perspective. He's walking. You're walking down these stairs from the rooms you guys were introduced to by the attendant. And you want to go out to the main thoroughfare or the alleyway? Where do you want to go? It's getting pretty late.
Probably walking their way.
You're walking whose way?
The groups.
So I've been assuming that you're just kind of moving with the group, as opposed I didn't really assume you were still standing at the gate.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
wondering.
Yeah?
I
Yes, it's
I
sweet, girl.
missed any
Hmm.
conversation that happened. I wasn't there.
Good kitty.
Okay, so you're just now meeting up with the group then?
Yeah.
All right. So you walk into the tavern, I guess. And the and since you're waiting at the bell, the attendant comes up to you and looks you up and down and says, "Name and business? We're a little short on rooms."
Sorry, what? There's a bird like happening here.
She's asking for your name and business.
Who is?
The attendant of the tavern.
Sorry, really, I'm distracted over here.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so I'm Albus. I am just somebody from somewhere. I'm not even sure where I am.
Her mouth opens a little bit. How old does Albus look?
How old is a Paltruan? That's probably 12 years old.
Okay, so you're definitely on the younger side, like basically college aged. Well, we certainly don't get a lot of Palturans around here. At least not here in the Cherus district. And do you know anybody that may have antler horns? Off the top of your mind, or off the top of your mind, Calliope had antler horns.
Probably Calliope.
Good girl, Pi. Good girl.
So, as you say Calliope's name, she takes out her notebook with wide eyes and writes something down. Do you know a last name?
No.
Alright, no problem. Contentedly, she puts the notebook away and says, "I think I know where your friends are, if you'll follow me." She gives you a little bit of a bow and then starts to walk away. Do you follow?
Well, must.
So she leads you up the stairs, up to the third floor. The two doors to the rooms that she had given you guys keys to are open because you guys went from one to the other. And talking is coming from one of them. As she's coming down the hallway with Albus, Amalia's tutor sticks his head out the door and kind of sticks it back in and says, "Some people are coming."
Calliope just kind of walks out of the door to see who it is.
It's the attendant and Albus.
Seeing the attendant, he just kind of like ducks his head back and is just like, "Oh, that's Albus."
Amalia is just going to gesture indignantly towards the section of ceiling that's now on the ground.
Side note,
Do you look at the...
I'm just...
Sorry, what?
I was just going to say, side note, I'm assuming in the 9-hour-long walk, everybody exchanged names. That's why I said Albus.
Oh, yeah, of course. You guys know each other. You guys have small talked.
Well, if they're
Loosely.
coming in here, then get that back up.
He just kind of like smirks at you and doesn't. Don't worry about it.
I can't afford to pay for a new ceiling for this place.
Yeah, you won't. It's still there.
Calliope looks up. Is it still there?
No.
Um,
So the attendant
looks
comes up to the agape door with Albus and says, "I think you may have lost this little kitty out in the streets."
is that racist?
Virgil lets out a mew of slight indignation.
Yeah, it's pretty racist.
That's pretty racist. Like, after he asked that to the group, he looked back at the attendant and said that.
Listen, I don't even know what you are, and if I could make fun of you directly, you would not be spared. She gives you a little smile and says, another 20 minutes and dinner will be done.
Thanks.
She doesn't seem to see your tutor.
That's good. Do me a favor, friend, and try not to wander off again, huh? Got to stay together here. Thanks for bringing.
One thing that you notice, Amalia and Calliope, is before the attendant leaves, her eyes linger a little bit on you, Calliope. And she nods to herself and sort of brings her finger up and places it on her chin. Then she turns and walks away.
Calliope did not notice this, even with like
it's
the
fine.
whatever perception.
You can choose to be an airhead whenever you want.
I mean, Calliope's got low intellect, right? So it's fair,
High whiz, low end.
I guess.
Yeah,
Actually, no, he probably did like see it, but just didn't like think of anything.
we're getting shaken down by Anna.
Alright, so, anyways, Dimension. What would this
Oh,
place
right.
look like?
You want to warn me next time you're prepared to do weird magic bullshit?
Alright, so, and he looks at Virgil. This will explain something to you as well, because you are right with how transportation spells typically work. If I was transporting myself here, and I did not know where here was, it wouldn't work. I'm not transporting myself here. This is a projection. I'm somewhere else. I've been somewhere else. Basically the entire time. He also looks back at Virgil. Also, I don't actually have that zit. I was just fucking with you.
Calliope walked over and like attempted to just like slowly reach his hand like through the projection.
You
like,
touch some
kind of
very
in
supple
awe.
skin.
Huh.
Why are you touching me?
I thought it was like a
He heard projection.
He's not like an illusion because he can physically interact with stuff. Weird.
I mean, listen, I thought it was magic is weird.
You saw me writing on paper.
Yeah, but it could have been fake paper.
He has a point.
It could be hard line.
It could be what, Albus?
Hard light. Yeah, we're in Numenera now.
He's right. It could be hard light. That's what. Wait, yeah, that.
So you're not here, but you're here. Great.
Yeah, but I don't know where here is. Mostly, I
Well-
just have an anchoring spell on Amalia that makes it so I can always pretty easily get to her. But yeah, I'm probably asleep. My real body's sort of been on autopilot for a really long time.
Huh. Well, we're in Nard. He kind of looks around for like a little bit of confirmation.
It looks like the mentor's heart stops a little bit as you start to pronounce it.
Zerath.
Oh, that's not good.
Why?
He looks at Amalia. He's told you basically nothing. So you're a little
What's wrong
concerned.
with Narceras?
You're,
You're not supposed to be here, are you?
I've heard rumors of this place. It doesn't sound terrible. I mean, there's some
No.
bad.
No, it's
He-
absolutely the worst.
He is not supposed to.
all right.
Yeah.
More specifically. which Which district? He's much more hushed.
Amalia looks at Catherine.
This is the Cherus. Catherine,
Yeah.
you want to say what district we're in? Nobody else is doing it.
The Cherus. Certainly better than some of the other districts you could end up in.
Not exactly. There's 2 total districts people I don't want to associate with could be in. And the Cherus is one of them. So I'm going to be going now. He stands up, sort of collects his papers, looks at Amalia and says, I probably
Wait, which
won't...
people?
He looks at Catherine, pauses, looks back at Amalia. Probably won't be around for a while. Do make sure you're doing your studying.
You want to look into the weird dimension thing while you're away?
I don't have... He jumps up, throws his papers into the ceiling with an oomph. Then he grabs the lip with his fingertips, and while he's hanging there, he goes, don't really have the luxury of studying it right now. Rather stay alive. See ya! And
Bye.
as he climbs back up into the ceiling tile vacuum suctions back on, and there is no incision mark.
Wow.
Virgil looks at Amalia. Did he teach you to throw those fire punches?
We all saw that, right?
Sort of. Little bit. It's kind of ingrained, but also yes.
Cool.
Now, I mean,
As long as it
Talk-
doesn't burn your skin up. That would be bad. I'd
No, it's
imagine-
talking about the semantics is good and all, but it's dinner in like, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Ding, 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 ding. The bell
Okay.
on a string above your guys' door rings, signifying that it is the next serving time.
Alright, let's go get dinner. Shall we?
Convenient, but annoying for anyone going for a midnight snack.
I mean, they could just, like, I don't know, it's Narzareth. They probably just steal it, right? Like, he catches himself being classist as hell. Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a dirty look.
no, that's not what I meant.
Virgil gives like the most subtle of like,
And
yeah.
what did you mean then?
I'm sorry.
And as you guys make your way downstairs, you spot a familiar face sitting at one of the tables. Not a lot of the tables are occupied. Most of the people who are eating here have eaten here. Particularly of the people staying in this particular tavern, the Garbled Collar. And so it's mostly only the people that have gotten in late from whatever they were doing, and one of those people is Rudolph, sitting at a table.
Hey.
Jidek is not with him. He looks like he's poring over some notes.
Does Calliope still have the cloak on?
Yes. I mean, you tell me.
Okay. Well, it looks pretty ridiculous, all things considered.
Calliope also looks ridiculous without the cloak.
He does not.
He just looks different ridiculous. Of course he's prettier.
Okay, so to make up for this, since so the cloak doesn't look like Xanthos King Jeremiah, he attempts to kind of like poke antler holes through it, so he
Okay.
just kind of looks like Deer God instead.
Great, you look like Dear God.
And he's like heads down with everybody else.
So apart from Rudolph, there's a couple other tables that are like half full of small groups of people that are chatting quietly with each other. Dinner itself is a nice big plate of an ambrosial mutton with some steamed vegetables and a colder side dish that's similar to ice cream.
Damn.
Ambrosial, huh?
So, where are you guys? Rudolph's alone. You can leave him alone if you want to.
Calliope just like kind of side eyes and like points to him. It's like we're in like they serve alcohol here, right?
Yes.
No, like he was asking that in character.
Oh, okay.
How
Catherine,
old are you?
they
I
certainly.
don't know. I don't know what your point is, but and Amalia is going to basically walk over. She's going to get her food, and then she's going to basically,
It's brought to you. Like,
yeah,
this place is kind of
Basically-
treating you nice.
basically going to plant herself in Rodolph's table. Oh, hey! Nice to see a friendly face around here.
He almost looks like he's in a stupor until you get halfway through your sentence, and then he sort of looks up, half annoyed, and then he recognizes you immediately, and his eyes immediately widen. He's like, "Oh, oh, um, oh, uh,"
Oh, don't
and
look too
he
disappointed.
sets his pen down and slowly closes his big notebook. I saw it.
Calliope goes.
Calliope, what?
Calliope goes to a different table if they're going to be talking about that at dinner.
No problem. He just sort of like thins his lips in a stretched, not smile.
Did you find anything else about it?
He rubs one of his eyes. I didn't want to get too close. I got within about 3-4 miles. Saw mostly from a hilltop. Then me and Jidek came back. Whatever happened to the lift rails? It didn't
They're
look.
broken.
It didn't look explosive. It looked like they were cut. But obviously they're really big and really metal.
Incendiaries of some sort, I think.
Well, either way. I was going to write a eulogy for them, since I assume none of them survived.
The rails?
The people in the town. And she's like, come on, come on. And then she turns back. I'm not worried that whoever did that may still be around.
He looks a little inquisitive. You think a person did that?
Think it's something. There were signs in some of the buildings. Great fire broken out some of the main. And the weird thing was, fires all looked to have started at the exact same time. Fire on it.
What you're saying is it would have been a synchronized demolition.
Over a massive scale.
So, like with bombs?
No, I don't think with bombs. Incendiaries, perhaps, but they would have to have all been rigged to go at exactly the same time.
Did you see the owl lady?
The who?
Here, I drew her. I only saw her for a couple seconds. He opens his notebook and he flips to a page where there is a sketch of one of the hilltops. You recognize this. It was one of the hilltops that was in the distance from the Cirque District. There is the vague shape of a woman, and then beneath that is the same drawing, except the woman has grown a huge set of owl wings and lifted herself into the sky.
Interesting.
There was this, and then there was, on my way back, I was curious to see if there had been any lifts that were on the rails when the whatever broke them. And so I got Jidek to go look. And apparently 10-15 miles off to the west, way out in the middle of the woods, one of them was, well, it would have had to be thrown there because the rails are pretty far away. But there it is. Big old crash site. He said he didn't find any survivors, but he didn't stick around for too long. Oh yeah, just by the way, since I realize you guys aren't locals here, are you?
I'm
All of us are not.
from this part of Nazareth, yes.
He looks at you, Catherine. And then he's gonna make an insight check. How are you trying to come off?
As someone who is from here. I'm not trying to conceal that I'm from here. I'm just trying.
Oh yeah,
Not
but
that
are you trying to be standoffish and that he shouldn't fuck with you about it, or are you being a little more welcoming with it, just to like give him information?
I'm trying to sound neutral, but I don't know. I'm probably sounding a bit standoffish.
That's fine. The insight check is to see like what you're intending behind, however it may be on the surface. Would you say a 14 gets it?
Yeah.
That you're relatively neutral? Okay. So he looks a little intimidated for a second, and then he kind of regathers his nerves and says, "Oh yeah, sorry. I won't. I'll try not to make assumptions. Well, here in Nazareth, as I'm sure you're well aware," he turns back to Amalia and Calliope. "Connections are kind of everything, and I know my way around materia. So, if you need anything done with them, I'll be sticking around this tavern for probably the next week or so, until I'm done with this assignment, and then I'll probably be going back to my more permanent residence, which is further in."
I see. Well, we'll keep you in mind.
He looks at you, Catherine. "Where are you from?"
Here, like I said.
"Cherus?
Mhm.
Are you also in the family?"
I have. Okay, there's no. I have certain connections.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's complicated. It always is. Okay. Well, I'm gonna be transparent. I believe you guys. Jidect does not. I don't know if I successfully convinced him not to talk about you to the people he knows, but I tried. So just be on the lookout. Lots of eyes watching, lots of ears listening around here.
She nods. This is pretty normal for home.
I am in room 218.
We'll keep in mind.
And he closes his notebook, and then he starts eating.
As soon as they're kind of done with the whole like gross talk, Calliope like moves over a couple of seats.
So Calliope while they're talking about that, before you move over,
Okay.
you notice our man walk into the tavern,
Our man is in black leather. The hunter?
the hunter.
Yeah, okay.
He walks in, says a few words to the man behind the bar, chugs down a glass of water, points to you, and then walks out of the tavern.
Calliope's heart palpitates. He kind of like looks back, no one else noticed, and so he's just gonna like he's gone into look at everyone in the room, not good mode. Can I make a perception check to see if anyone else was alerted to this?
Sure, yeah. With your passive perception, there were other people that noticed this happening. None of them seem too perturbed.
Okay. Calliope's just gonna like make like the blinking man gif.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gonna make that exact expression to the guy who just was like given information about him, like the guy who was
The guy behind the bar, yeah.
Yeah, the guy behind the bar. Thank you.
All right.
Does he look back?
Yeah, he's looking at you. He smiles a little bit. He's cleaning out one of the mugs.
Calliope kind of like gets out of his seat. His food is mostly done. It's fine. And walks over, and it's like, what was that all about?
Seems the outsiders have an interest in each other. You know who that is, I reckon.
I mean, yeah, we spoke. Should I?
He narrows his eyes. You mean you didn't come here together?
Like long pause. No, we did. We did. I mean, he wasn't very talkative.
Roll deception.
All right.
I'll give you advantage because this guy's kind of expecting you're just stupid as opposed to hiding something. So we can go with the 16. He
Nice.
he has a, sort of a half smile and he says, "All right, you're one of the ones in 308, right?"
Yeah.
Well, he says the job's done. So if you're staying here any longer than tonight, payment will be necessary.
Okay. Thank you.
That said, he also and he reaches underneath the counter and pulls out a it's almost like a tag. It's a piece of leather with what do you call it? I guess embroidery around the edge.
Oh.
And then it tapers off where it could be hung off of like a cloak or something. And it has the same insignia of the white horizon, the white hilly horizon with a black sun rising over it. And he sort of discreetly scoots it across the countertop towards you and he says, this was his and he didn't ask for it back. You know anything
All
about
right.
this?
Yeah, I'll do. I'll give it back to him. He probably forgot.
Oh, no. He scoots it back towards him.
Shit.
No, I kept it on purpose. I want
Oh.
information.
Like,
You came here together. You must know a little bit of what he's about, right?
What do you? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm lost here. What is this exchange?
So, he is just as unfamiliar with that guy as he is with you. That guy came in, said that he's killing the people in 307, 308, to the best of your knowledge. He just came in saying that he'd done so, and apparently he left this with the barkeeper at some point and didn't ask for it back.
Oh, okay.
You implied that you came here with him.
Yes.
And
No. I didn't need an out of character explanation.
Gotcha.
I-
Were you asking that in character?
Partially, but he cuts himself off instead and is like, "Yeah, you're gonna want to hold on to that."
He furrows his brow. I have protection.
You're gonna need to keep that if you want more.
Hey,
He like slowly nods his head.
listen to me. He leans in real close. He says, "If anything happens to me, you're gonna be the next one falling."
Yeah, and that's why you're gonna want to hold on to that.
He looks real scared all of a sudden. Any
Maybe keep.
names
like-
I should know?
No, you'll be fine. Just don't drop it. Maybe keep it in your back pocket. He like kind of winks to him.
He
before,
hurriedly just fucking shoves it down his back pocket.
Calliope like kind of like looks at the other people. Like they're all talking. It's fine. Before he kind of like leaves the bar a second to see if he can go.
Wait.
What? What?
My shift's almost out. For the night guy. Here's the password. He takes out a piece of paper. He slides it to you.
Calliope nods and like puts it like shuffles underneath his cloak before like quickly leaving, like trying to look like he has intent, but quickly leaving to go to the
this
black
guy-
leather guy to ask him a bunch of questions.
This guy pulls his collar out to let air in and goes back to cleaning his tankard, very deeply troubled all of a sudden. You're leaving the tavern?
Yeah, just for a little bit. You can cut back to everyone else.
All right. So, do you want to let Amalia know? You want to let the rest?
Can I
No.
roll to see him start to leave?
So, Virgil, if you want, you can have seen this whole exchange.
Oh, thank God. So Virgil's just gonna grab him and be like, room now.
No, you're gonna ruin this. Just I'll be fine. Just head back up.
Okay,
I'll be-
fine, but we are talking about this. Hmm?
Yeah, sure, whatever. We can discuss all of this.
Fine, come on, let's go.
Let's go.
Yes. As in both
Fine.
together.
All right. He nods and is like, Jesus, it's too. He has to catch up with the black leather guy before it's too late. So he starts like heading out with Virgil, I guess.
All right. So Albus, Catherine, and Amalia, you're staying with Rudolph.
Yes.
Okay. So Virgil and Calliope, as you walk out the door, the sun has completely set. The sky is completely dark. It's very overcast. You don't see any starlight, no moonlight. Just some, I guess, phosphorus lamps giving off an eerie sky blue light. It gets pretty dim when you're between the lamps because the light doesn't reach very far, but when you're underneath one, it's relatively bright. And you see him walking in the direction of... He's walking further north. So let me draw a diagram. Freehand, white. We'll say this is the gate, right?
All right.
And this is Cher's district. The highway goes up this way. And it also goes that way.
This diagram tells me nothing, so it doesn't matter. Calliope just
this
looks
was
like
the garbled collar. This is towards the church. He's walking towards the church as opposed to towards the gate.
All right, cool. Calliope just yells out, "Hey!"
Okay, you yell out, "Hey!"
Well, no one else is really there. Like, right?
No, but it's early enough in the night that people are still going to be able to hear things inside the buildings.
Well, it's not like a loud hey. They're not terribly far.
He's about
Are they?
700 feet away.
Okay, never mind. So
What in
like,
the hell are you doing?
He's also
no. I take
he's
that
also
back
got
then.
something else with him.
If it was okay, no. If it's that far away, then I take that back. He's like, Calliope just like, just a light jog to catch up with him in a reasonable amount of time.
Okay, so you and Virgil sort of quietly make your way down the street. As you get close enough, he looks over his shoulder at you. He's got a big sack slung over his shoulder. and it's full of uneven bumps.
He looks over at Virgil's like, "You're a doctor. That's a body, right?"
Virgil, best you can guess, that's a couple.
Uh,
And bodies are
you're not
heavy.
entirely wrong.
He kind of nods and is like, he like slowly approaches. It's like, hey,
He
Don't-
turns to completely
don't
face
let-
you.
He's busy.
Hey.
I, had some questions. He like, it's very clear that Calliope is using everything in his arsenal to keep composure.
He sort of cuts you off a little bit. He looks at Virgil. He says, "You coming?"
Yeah, fine. Fuck.
He looks back at you, Calliope. He says,
Damn. Piss.
he says, "You're silver blood." And then he turns and looks at you, Virgil, and he says, "And you're gold steel. Let's go." He nods back to the direction he was walking. He turns and he leads you further up the street.
What?
Fuck
Like-
are you cutting us into?
Deer in the headlights railroad. Just like he just follows and is like looking at Virgil like, what is going on?
Virgil is practically glaring daggers at Callie like, what in the fuck have you gotten us into? How could you?
This
But
wasn't-
he says nothing, except for the verbal ticks that come out of his mouth every 5 seconds.
All right. So, after probably 45 minutes of walking, you guys get to a large wall that is surrounding, best you can tell, the church building. The wall itself is about 20 feet tall.
Hi, Freya.
It has a very large set of double doors keeping it shut, and at the bottom of the double doors, there's a smaller set of double doors that are actually people-sized. He takes out a very large ring of keys, rifles through them, and he gets to a weird iron key that's way too thick for the actual keyhole, and it doesn't have any spokes on it. But he places it up against the keyhole, and it sort of becomes mercurial and melts into the socket.
Whoa.
He turns it, opens the door, turns it back. As he pulls it out, it resolidifies into a big sort of dark iron cylinder, replaces it in his cloak, and then leads you further in. You're now in sort of a courtyard that leads up to the actual main church building. It's a large church tower attached to a pretty big chapel, and it's surrounded in this park, this heavily wooded park. And he leads you into the forest, into the trees.
Who are you?
He just turns around, holds a finger up to his lips, and then keeps walking.
He's been shushed.
So, back at the tavern, Amalia, Catherine, Albus, Virgil, and Calliope have been gone for like 25 minutes. So either they're dead, or this is gonna be a while.
Any of you happen to see where they just why?
It seems to be a day for that sort of thing.
Yeah, strange. Why would you not just
Rudolph sort of pipes up. He looks like he finishes his notes finally, and he closes the tome that he was working on. He looks at you, Amalia, and he clasps his fingers together. All right, so I'm actually really curious. Where does your accent come from? And you have really, forgive my saying so, you have kind of dark skin.
Rudolph, known racist.
Oh wow, you're one of those.
Basically, every faction is xenophobic in Nartzareth because they all hate each other.
Episode 2, Rudolph says the N-word.
It's fair.
Alright, where is Canaan in relation to Nazareth?
Far. Where is Texas in relation to Russia?
Yeah, but which direction far?
Isn't Texas sort of positioned where, because the world is spherical, if you walk in any direction, you'll eventually get there?
Yes.
Like, that's sort of the extremity of distance we're talking about here.
Okay, but walking from California to Japan is pretty quick if you take the right direction. So what's the shortest measurement of distance?
I think they're on complete opposites.
My friend, I am beholden to no nation but the sea itself.
His mouth drops slightly. That was a really cool way to say what he was expecting, like a name. He was like, "What? Wait. Wait, that's badass." He doesn't say that though. He's just like, "Wow. I've never seen the sea. I mean, I've seen like lakes and obviously the big aqueducts over in the Twin Bridges district. Never been into them because the people down there will kill me, but you know. What's the sea like?"
It's amazing. The blue boundary with nothing but the world in front of you.
Isn't it
Oh.
terrifying? Like, it gets pretty deep as far as I know.
Of course, it's terrifying. So is life.
Fair. Fair. He looks at Catherine. Life is pretty terrifying.
Some existential dread put it on this child.
I just kind of occasionally forget about the terrifyingness, I guess.
If you let terror stop you, you get nowhere. The sea, bounty to share. Connects the world.
His eyebrows actually furrow a little bit at this, and he looks thoughtful. If you let terror stop you. Huh. He does a little nod to himself. And then he looks back at you as if waiting for you to continue.
It's my dream one day to have a ship of my own. Sail the seas, go where I want.
Well, if you need a materia, dude, I'm your guy. He gives you a grin and then stretches a little bit. That said, I think I'm gonna get off to an early bed. Today's been stressful. Nice meeting you.
Oh, one thing. There was a man that we talked to earlier who recommended this place to us. He was wearing a kind of black leather outfit with a mask.
His face drains of blood. Have you been home recently? He looks at you, Catherine. You say you're around here, like when... It's been a couple months since you've been down in Canaan.
I just got back.
Uh-oh. He opens up his notebook and he flips way back, like 20 to 30 pages before his newest stuff. He turns his notebook around and he shoves it at you. There's a terrorist faction.
Another one?
It has the emblem that you recognized on the bottom of that guy's coat, Amalia. It is the white horizon with the black rising sun over it. And he says, yeah, we have no idea what they're about. Lots of people are getting killed in the shadows. What?
These are very dangerous men, then, yeah?
We don't know how many there are. We don't know what they're trying to do. We don't know what their goal is. We don't know anything really. And that's what's scary. They seem to be able to get their fingers into whoever they need to, wherever they need to. And we can't ever really predict where they're going to go next. The Atzenales, anyways, we've sort of been on lockdown.
Have they killed Have they? Is there any?
Bodies?
Yes.
Not notable ones, from what I know.
None in your family, for instance?
The problem here is that we know they've gotten into places that they shouldn't be, but nobody's gone missing yet. Nobody important to us, anyways. And once again, I'm part of the Atzenales, so it might not be that case for some of the visiting families that are stranded here. I know that an Alucian girl came up from the Cirque District. Don't know where she's been recently, but there's more people here, and those people can't get out because the lift system's down.
I saw that.
So even more reason to be cautious. We can't really run from these guys. He taps the open notebook several times. Do you know his name? He scoots the notebook back to him and clicks his pen open.
Smash cut.
And back to our buddies Virgil and Calliope, following the known terrorist into the woods with who is carrying a body bag with 2 people in it.
After a long pause from Calliope's last thing that he said is like,
Can I take that back?
Can I get a mask? I kind of have an image to uphold.
You say this to the other dude?
Yeah, I said this to Black Leather Boy.
He
The ghoul.
He looks at you and stops. No. Masks are my thing. Then he turns back around and keeps going.
Okay, then what are we doing here, at the very least?
Attending a meeting. I gave you your monikers.
Okay.
Well, you're attending a meeting. I'm watching a meeting.
I'm going to assume that this is,
Keep your mouth shut. And when they ask for attendance, tell them what I told you. He sort of slings the body bag off of his shoulder and lets it thump wetly on the ground at the base of a tree, and then he keeps walking a good distance.
Calliope definitely kind of like gags at that, like.
And you notice something magical happen. It's ambiguous what it is, and you're still in a forest, but it's a different forest.
Oh, okay.
And you
Say
come,
Wild Gang.
And you come in Wild Gang, and you come into a large, not a large clearing, it's a small clearing, and there's a bunch of hooded people sitting down. The people are sitting down. There's 2 vacancies. The vacancies are not next to each other. All the hooded people look exactly the same. The place is alight with bioluminescent flowers, giving off a white aura. And nobody's looking at you as you walk in. They're all looking like statues towards the center of the circle. Do you remember your monikers?
Gold blood.
So
Silverblood.
Calliope, you are silver blood. Virgil, you are gold steel.
Can I cast minor illusion to have a mask?
Looking down at yourself, you're now dressed in the same exact robes, with the hood pulled up.
What about the antlers?
They're not there.
And ears.
You feel the antlers and you feel your ears, but the hood is somehow magicking them away.
Okay. Calliope just like takes the spot. This is terrifying.
All right, so you take the spot.
Can I glare daggers in his general direction from my spot?
The hood
Behind
turns
the mask.
The hood turns towards you, Calliope, but you can't see anything into its depths. You know what Virgil's doing. So a sort of chill settles, and the bioluminescent flowers dim, and then slowly turn crimson. And a person stands up and he says, "Attendance." And he goes around the circle and these people say words that you recognize, and they are of a similar fashion to the monikers you were told, but right after they say them, right after the person taking attendance nods acknowledgement, you immediately forget them.
Good.
It gets to you, Calliope.
So Calliope like freezes up a little bit as it like gets to him, like and very, very like quietly stutters out the moniker.
And then the person taking attendance says something that was not said yet. You say Silverblood, and he says, report.
Yeah.
Two of the other people in the circle start to look at you.
Calliope shrinks, like just like his shoulders and his neck collapse in on themselves. Like,
Quick, switch to Spanish.
Can I, Eric? Can I click? Can I click to die instantly?
They're waiting for you to say something.
I, I, um, I have received a concussion.
Virgil just.
All right. He nods and then looks to the next two people. They give out their monikers. It gets to you, Virgil. What do you say?
Gold steel.
And then it goes to the next people. They get all around the circle. He sits down and says, we have discovered what they call themselves. They are referred to from here on out as the Tenebrae. And we have figured out what they have stolen thus far. So far, they have the Aureum Heart, the Eleusinian Rose, the Dark Star, and the Lumen Staff. We believe that their next target is the artifact being held by the Atsenale family, though we don't know what that artifact is. If there is any pressing concerns, speak now or the meeting is adjourned.
Calliope raised his hand.
Okay? He looks at you.
I think it was a bit of an understatement when I said that I had received a concussion. I think I have sustained major brain damage, and I've forgotten, I want to say about 30% of what this is about.
Roll persuasion.
Well, pick your poison.
Holy shit!
All right, Silverblood, you
That was
will
a good
be
persuasion roll.
briefed individually at sunrise.
Thank you.
Do you need a squire? Or can you
For
still hand
what?
it? Well, if you're going to be out in the field and you won't know 30% of what you're seeing, a squire can help maintain consistency.
I'm competent.
The charisma-based character will save us, you said.
All right. He nods and says, any other concerns?
Nope.
Maybe.
And another of the hooded people, neither you nor Virgil, raises their hand as well. The person taking attendance looks towards them, and they say, sort of, they're talking in a different language.
Oh. Can I use the spell?
Comprehend languages. What spell components does it have?
Hold up. Actually, VSM, baby.
All right, so
What's
it's
the
gonna be
material?
you can, but it's gonna be real obvious you're casting the spell.
Um, never mind.
Need a pinch of certain salt.
What metamagics do you have? Because you're a sorcerer.
Metamagics?
Yes.
Can you speak language a non D&D player can understand?
Magic
Did
is
you
basic-
did you not pick your fucking
So-
metamagics?
No.
Take
Oh, they're the
subtle
best
spell.
thing. How could
Take
you?
it.
Alright, so the thing about a sorcerer is that they have limited spells, but they can change how the spells work. Like, they can make certain parts of them better.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you get different ones. So, like, there's a meta magic where you don't need any verbal or semantic components.
So it's called subtle spell. You cast it without anybody being able to tell you casted a spell.
Oh, that sounds really good.
So if you want subtle spell, you can take subtle spell right now, and we can figure out the rest of your metamagics later.
Sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it. Take it.
So
Why not? Yeah.
you now know comprehend languages, and probably 2 words in, you hear the person who had taken attendance. No, you hear the person talking to the person who had taken attendance say, "Blood is an imposter." Not sure, but well, doesn't sound as effeminate as I remember. And the person taking attendance nods and says, "Duly noted. Had my own suspicions, but not
In
too
all fairness,
sure."
that's
Then the both of
that's
them,
a bull.
the both of them look at you, and then look back at each other. And he says, "All right, keep an eye on them. Follow them out." And then nobody else raises their hand unless you or Virgil do. Great.
Virgil is most definitely keeping his hands down.
So, he nods and says, "Meeting adjourned." Stands up. The lumen flowers fade, as do each of the hooded figures, except for you and Virgil. So you're now sitting in a clearing, and you can feel that you're back in the forest that was in the park surrounding the churchyard.
All right. Immediately, like Calliope, like takes off the big stupid cloak and is like, "Bah!"
How could they have seen through your subtle act?
Subtle.
He's just kind of like coming down from an adrenaline high. What the hell was that?
That's what I've been asking you.
I don't
What was
know.
that?
I don't know.
Why didn't you think before?
What? Am I going to say no to the person carrying a body bag?
Well, why did you talk to the person carrying the body bag?
Because he left a thing on the. Liz, it's a whole thing. Okay. Okay. The guy in the bar thought that we were together, and so I wanted to ask him a question, and then this happened, and you came. He's
Keep
like,
you out of trouble.
Are you guys just chilling in the clearing, or are you gonna start moving out?
Calliope hasn't moved yet.
Okay.
Where even is that guy?
He stayed behind. He had you guys. It was about 50 paces.
All right. So is he still around?
You don't know. The woods are pretty thick.
Can I make a
Perception check.
perception check?
It's. You would have to like walk around and look for him.
All right, fine. So he gets up and is like, "All right, I don't know what that was. What was the shoot?
You just hear a whizzing sound. Nothing happens after that.
Okay.
A little bit of
sure.
like a thunk on wood too, but that's it.
All right. Calliope just assumes it's like forest noises. He hasn't really been in a forest, so he just imagines this is how it is usually. He's probably been in one, but like nonetheless. So he's kind of looking around to be like, all right, I have to ask what that was. That's not good or normal. He's
Oh
like,
my god, just use your brain. It's not that hard, okay? Look, body bag. The guy was getting a fucking body bag. If
yeah,
that guy thought that we were together, then that means that you were an assassin. So he was asking you how your job went, and you were like, I don't know.
okay, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to incriminate myself.
Too fucking late for that one.
But no, it's not. I didn't say anything. Anyways, in the middle of this perception check.
You mean investigation? Oh, I guess a 22 gets it. Yeah, he's about 50 feet back, leaning
Yeah,
against a
okay.
tree.
So Calliope, he's turning around, as the guy is over there, Calliope like dead eyes him and like points at him and is like, and
So,
you.
so as you see him, his crossbow's no longer on his back. He's
Oh.
got it in his hands. It's taking up both of them, and
Oh.
he's disassembling it, and as if he's putting it back on his back. And then after a couple seconds, he does that. And then he leans back up against the tree.
Calliope looks like he just saw a ghost, but he like slowly sidles back up and like over to him. It's like, okay, what was that?
And he nods about he nods forward, so to your left. And you and Virgil both look over in time to see a man wearing a hood with a massive bolt pinning him through the face to a tree. He says, "You are going to be trailed."
Okay, it's like he's like looking over like at it.
Let's not stick
bef-
around and wait for more, shall we?
I agree. There's a lot of questions to ask. So many questions.
Oh yeah,
So many questions.
lots of questions. What do they know about us? And he starts leading the way out of the forest.
Who's us?
Apparently, yes, it's us
He
three.
looks over his
Come now.
shoulder. He looks over his shoulder and he says, "Us, the Tenebrae, of course." And
am I-
and we cut to tavern.
I hate you so much.
We're done in 4 minutes. So
Are we? Can we extend it to 9?
I mean, Stuart's got to go
Stuart
to
likes
bed,
his sleep.
and
I have to go.
Yarath has to go too.
All right.
So Amalia, Catherine, and Albus, is there anything you want to do, or are you just waiting for them to get back?
I don't know why, but I have this weird feeling that something terrible has just happened.
I'm looking around, seeing if I recognize, or by any chance, anyone here, because I'm really out of my depths without dealing with the hierarchies of the house or without Roderick coaching.
It's really strange. You feel like you haven't seen nearly as many Adsnails as would normally be out and about on the streets. It's almost like they're shutting themselves in. However, having resituated yourself on like the general layout of the city, and after being home for, however many hours you've been here now, you at least know of some places that would be safe. You know that you probably won't have to stay at this tavern again. You can find accommodations for you and anybody that's going to go with you, starting from tomorrow on. Also, you have a couple ideas of some other people in the Adsnail family that you'd be comfortable dealing with. They're close friends of Roderick. One of their names is Sigurd, and the other one is Rhyme.
Sigurd and Rhyme.
Sigurd is his brother, and Rhyme is a close lady friend of both of theirs.
And do they live anywhere near here?
You're not sure where they live, but you can do your investigating on that tomorrow, probably.
All right.
Is anyone going to head up and go to bed?
Amalia's gonna wait for the other two to come back for as long as she can manage.
All right, so probably about an hour total later, um, Virgil and Calliope walk back in. The tavern keeper has switched shifts about 10 minutes before you guys got there. And they switch by going into the basement, and then the other one will come up.
All right.
So you come in. It's a new tavern keeper. This one's got long braided hair hanging over his shoulder, and he's a little bit more finely kept, but he's also not as muscular. He watches you come in. He nods. The attendant, doesn't bother apprehending you because she knows that you guys have rooms here. And you go back over to Amalia. Rudolph's gone to bed. Back to Amalia, Catherine, and Albus sitting at the tables.
Where in the name of hell have you been?
Oh, we were.
That's about right.
Listen, we kind of we tailed the guy with the black outfit. We just wanted to see where he was going. We lost sight of him and then got lost and then came back here.
She just puts her hands in her head.
Roll insight. So Amalia, he says all of that, and somehow you just get this image of him and Virgil following the crossbow guy into the churchyard, through the woods, attending a meeting, fucking it up, leaving the meeting, and witnessing one of the members of the meeting getting killed.
Why?
And, I mean, if the sudden mental image wasn't enough, Virgil hasn't stopped glaring at Callie.
And Callie also looks like he has just seen a war.
Why in the hell did you raise your hand?
I didn't know.
Why didn't you know?
Like, Calliope is like a kid who was caught stealing something. Like, he's having a panic attack.
He's kind of like getting on to by a mother figure, and the stern dad just hasn't stopped glaring and shaking his head.
As if on cue, dong, dong, dong. You hear 23 gongs. It is 11 p.m.
God, I'm tired.
Right.
Yes, fucking up like that'll do that. Shit. Damn. Fuck.
Right. Just. I am going to bed. We will sort this in the morning. First
We're live in the morning.
thing we're going to do. Suppose the nearest port has been destroyed. Where else could we find a ship around here? Never mind. That's tomorrow's problem. Tonight, I'm going to bed.
All right. Anybody else going to bed, or people staying up? What's that, Albus?
Albus was already asleep 2 hours ago.
You were what?
Asleep.
You were... Okay, that changes shit. So Albus goes to sleep 2 hours ago. Actually, no, it doesn't change shit because perspective's weird, but we'll get to that. So, as you guys decide to go to sleep, all of your consciousnesses are pulled away all of the sudden.
Great.
Fun.
Gamer dimension. Yeah, change of music would be nice. Hey!
All of you appear back in the plaza.
Me too.
Everyone. The hole in the center of the plaza is agape with a new spiral marble staircase leading down. The massive corpse of the horrible monster is bloodied and singed, lying on its side up against several of the buildings. And that is where we will leave off.
Son of a bitch!
Uh,